It's time for the truth, fellow citizens. Why September 11, 2001 attack against USA was accomplished by remote control hijackings, and why remote hijackers were military, and why White House aided the coup. The first sign of remote hijacking was when the pilots of Flight 175 told ground control, "We heard a suspicious transmission on our departure out of Boston." Someone keyed the mic and said, "Everyone stay in your seats." It cut out. That was reported by Guardian 10/17/1, Newsday 9/10/02, New York Times 10/16/1. That was testing from remote hijackers confirming they can take over primary channel along with the cockpit microphone. The very fact that all hijacked airplanes lost transponders before any of the pilots could press "We have been hijacked" to inform ground control only emphasizes the point that all 9/11 planes were hijacked remotely. Why the remote hijackers were military? When President Bush wanted to fly back to Washington, D.C. after finishing paid goat reading in Florida, Vice President Dick Cheney warned President Bush that hijackers had access to the transponder of Air Force One, suggesting hijackers were capable of remote hijacking even Air Force One. The codes are only known to military. Now the question is, did military have the technology? Before 9/11, CIA, derivative of MI6 after World War II, had tested remote control drones to hunt Bin Laden. And Global Hawk made a voyage to Australia from California without a pilot. And Boeing 737, 757, 767 were tested for remote landing by both NASA and Boeing's military wing. Now to confirm remote control military hijacking, imagine what novice Cessna-trained box cutter armed alleged Al-Qaeda hijacker Hani Hanzoor had to do to maneuver American Airlines Flight 77 that struck the Pentagon. It would require not only outfoxing military radar for over an hour, but the quite miraculous performance of descending 7,000 feet in 2 minutes, while executing a 270-degree bank turn and bashing into the Pentagon without touching or damaging the lawn, a feat of aeronautical magic, hitting precisely the newly refurbished part of Pentagon by British oil and energy conglomerate AMEC, occupied by the Navy Command Center, Pentagon's personnel, as well as budget office. Why it was a military coup? Since NORAD didn't scramble fighter jets immediately, following standard procedures, knowing the planes were flying without transponders, further emphasizes that the hijackings were inside jobs. Total military inactions during the whole saga for about 2 hours, despite being at the highest state of alarm, performing doomsday military exercises, running multiple war games. Rather, their efforts to confuse and distract air traffic controllers, failure to protect Pentagon, and prompt rescue from W2C and Pentagon, as well as shooting down of Flight 93, merely highlight the well-planned, meticulously coordinated military coup in broad daylight. That was why FBI, that protected alleged mastermind Zacarias Moussaoui's belongings from searching by other FBI and INS agents before 9/11, took over the Pentagon military crime scene, violating the military oath to save comrades with utmost urgency during emergency, whenever and wherever necessary. Why White was part of the coup? USA spent billions of dollars for missile defense system worldwide. But no missile was fired from Pentagon on 9/11 to save the very heart of US sovereign military. Why? All Republican shadow government formed under Reagan-Bush administration, headed by Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and Richard Clark, took over US government, and Vice President Dick Cheney ordered Flight 77 to hit Pentagon, as per then Transportation Secretary Norman Mineta's testimony. Quote, during the time that the airplane was coming into the Pentagon, there was a young man who would come in and say to the Vice President, the plane is 50 miles out, the plane is 30 miles out, and when it got to the plane is 10 miles out, the young man also said to the Vice President, do the orders still stand? And the Vice President said, of course the orders still stand. Have you heard anything to the contrary? Well, the standard order was to shoot down any non-military aircraft entering the prohibited airspace over Washington, in which civilian flying is prohibited at all times. Pilots notified of restricted airspace, violators face military action. FAA press release, September 28, 2001. Yet, no military action was taken to stop the flight and to evacuate and save Pentagon. Book, ebook of truth, Real Part 2 9/11 from Trafford Publishing USA 2010 by Kolke, ISBN 978-1425-151676. Real Part 2 9/11. By Kolke. This is the back of the book, main argument, and is from Trafford Publishing. God bless America. God bless Americans to stand tall, to regain land of the free, for the home of the braves.